When we open the book of Proverbs, it's easy to think it's just a collection of clever sayings. But it's so much more than that. It's a path. And right at the very beginning of this path, we come to the first, most critical fork in the road, a choice that ends up defining everything that follows. It all begins with this command from Proverbs chapter 1, verse 8. And this is so much more than just some casual parenting advice. This is the sound of generational, covenant truth being passed down. It's an urgent, heartfelt transmission of life itself from a father to a son. And just like that, with that one plea, wisdom leaves the world of abstract ideas and royal courts and lands right in the most personal space there is, between a father and his son. This isn't a sterile proverb, it's an urgent cry from the heart. And just notice what this shows us about priorities. The very first great danger the father warns his son about isn't making a bad career choice or planning his life poorly. No, the immediate threat, the one he tackles head on, is the seduction of a corrupt community. He knows his most important job is to shape his son's moral compass before the world tries to hand him a broken one. And here's where we meet the central conflict. There's a group, essentially a gang, a counterfeit community that's built on violence and greed, and they are trying to entice the son. They're inviting him to join their cause, to walk their path. So what is it they're actually offering him? What makes their call so powerful? Well, this temptation isn't just some vague whisper. It's a very specific and very alluring promise. And here's the bait on their hook. First, they offer community, a sense of belonging. You'll be one of us. Then comes the promise of easy money, a cut of the spoils. They dangle the thrill of adventure, of being part of something bigger. And then, underneath it all, they whisper the deadliest lie, that you can do all this with no consequences. It's pure greed, all wrapped up in the language of friendship and opportunity. This invitation right here in verse 14 is just a chilling parody of a real covenant. It's a call to a fellowship, sure, but one that's built on injustice. It's a direct alternative to the community of God. They promise unity, but it's a unity that's rooted in violence. So how does the father push back against such a seductive call? Well, he doesn't just forbid it. That wouldn't be enough. He completely exposes their promise for what it is, a hollow, destructive lie. He peels back all those attractive layers to reveal the terrible truth underneath. And here it is, the moral fork in the road, laid out plain and simple. On one side, you have the voice of the sinners, come with us. And on the other, the Father's protective command, my son, do not walk in the way with them. It's two voices, two paths, and two totally different destinies. And here's the Father's knockout punch. That treasure they're promising is a trap. The path of violent greed, it doesn't lead to a better life. It's a boomerang. It always comes back around to destroy the very person who walks it. This is such a profound theological truth. To violate God's moral order isn't just breaking some abstract rule in the sky. It's literally taking apart your own life piece by piece. They think they're setting an ambush for other people, but what they're really doing is setting a trap for their own souls. Okay, so now let's turn the camera, because this ancient drama, this father, this son, this temptation, it all finds its ultimate fulfillment in one person. Jesus is the true and perfect son who faced this exact kind of choice and obeyed his father perfectly. This ancient invitation to join a corrupt community, to try and gain the world through violence and injustice, well, it's a pattern that echoes all through history, and it's all leading to one ultimate confrontation. And here is that ultimate confrontation. In the wilderness, Jesus faces the supreme temptation. All the kingdoms of the world, all the gain, but without the cross. And unlike every other son, he refused. He would not walk in that way. So the whole plot of the sinners in Proverbs is to ambush and destroy the innocent for their own profit. And that dark desire, it reaches its absolute terrible climax at the cross. But this is where we see the magnificent, divine reversal. The very trap that evil set for Christ became the instrument of salvation for the entire world. The innocent blood they schemed to shed became the very fountain of mercy that washes sinners clean. So you see, this ancient choice from Proverbs isn't just a story from the past. It is the choice that stands before every single human heart in every generation. Those two paths are still right in front of us.
And the two invitations really couldn't be more different. One says, "Come on, join us and share the plunder." That's the community of greed. The other, from Christ, says, "Come, follow me, and take up your cross." That's the community of grace. And the community we decide to join will absolutely determine the person we become.
The stakes are ultimate. One path looks so easy, so profitable, but it leads to hidden ruin. The other path looks costly, sacrificial even, but it's the only one that leads to true, everlasting life with God. And so the question from this ancient text echoes right into our world today, and it's personal and it's urgent. Among all the competing voices yelling for your allegiance, whose voice will you actually listen to?
Because, hearing isn't enough. The choice of a voice leads to the choice of a path. Your feet have to follow your heart. So the real question is, whose way will you walk?
The warning of Proverbs is absolutely urgent, but the invitation of Christ is so much greater. He is the son who heard his father perfectly. He's the one who walked that path of costly obedience without a single flaw, and in doing so, he opened up a new and living way so that we, by grace, could be freed from that path of ruin and finally learn how to walk with God.